When you hear the word iconic in sport nowadays, you kind of go, ooh, people use the word all the time, but it is genuinely applicable to the famous fences here at Aintree Racecourse. And this spruce that's sourced from the Lake District is such an identifiable feature and part of the race's unique nature and part of the inherent challenge of the race for the horses and the riders. But the challenge for the Aintree executive is to maintain the race's character, to maintain its essence, but also to make it as safe as is possible within the parameters of the challenge the race presents. Andrew Tulloch is the director of racing here at Aintree, and pre-2013, the core here was tightly packed, hard timber.
It was timber, it was fence posts, what you and I call fence posts, 4 or 5 deep, and then the spruce was dressed over them. This is now basically what we call plastic birch. The ground staff still weave the spruce that comes from the Lake District into this. So outwardly looking, they're identical. And this is actually more forgiving, so if a horse does go a bit low or makes a mistake, it can actually brush through this, and there is a bit of give in it. Everything we do here at Aintree is about minimising that risk. My thing here is to make it enjoyable experience for both horse and rider and as safe as possible. And we want to see them, these great horses, I mean, jumping beaches, going down the canal turn, those are the fences, those iconic fences that we all remember. You see the approach to these fences is slightly ramped up. So as you're coming away, the horses then helps them get the back legs, the hind quarters under them, which is actually the engine room of the jump. And then at the bottom, we've got this big toe board. So that's like a sight line. And that basically gives the horse a good eye line at the beginning and the bottom of the fence, which is a good, well, in this case, it's well over 14 inches of depth. And then the middle rail, again, this is padded as well. Yeah. But this is sort of a sight line as well, and padded just to help the horses see the shape. And then over they go. In all the things we do here, we're always looking for safety. So we looked at what we could do. And so we then basically created a route, a bypass area, lay-by, around each of the fences. What that's meant is if a loose horse isn't jumping, it can keep up with the field. So actually, by solving one problem, we slightly created another, why the loose horses were able to keep up with the field. So what we've now done is introduced mounted horse catchers. So we have half a dozen people on horses who can help. Once the horses are caught, take them off the course. We have an excess of, 15 vets. We also have an addition of 10 doctors, 20 paramedics. So there's a big team, not to mention all the ground staff. And we're very fortunate here being part of the Jockey Club. I think the main thing here is over 200 people. Disinfecting cleanliness is the name of the game. You can see the boxes here. We've got over just shy of 160 boxes. Over the 3 days, we'll roughly have sort of 330 horses. So the stables get turned overnight, get disinfected. Some of them we even actually get completely emptied, disinfected, washed out, and then rebedded down. So you can see them behind. We've got shavings, which is normal shaving, or we actually have what we call diced paper. So trainers can have, some trainers prefer shavings, some trainers prefer bedding.
This is for the bed, essentially.
The bed, basically. And I mean, here we have a vet treatment facility. So they trotted up with a bridle in. The lad or lass who brings them in, who knows them really well. There'll be a team of vets here who'll check them in, just check that there's nothing underlying features, and then they, as you say, they trot them up, trot them back to them. And it's just double checking. Other events do it, and indeed eventing does it for 3-day events. Horses are trotted up before they do the dressage, and then the final day as well. So it's basically just extending that. The other one we're doing for the 3 races of the fences is medical forms, basically. Like you and I have medical forms. The horse has a medication form. So actually trainers then declare what's been administered to the horse, and then the vets, everyone knows what's happened and what's been given to the horse. So it's all about the transparency, and again, going back to all working together, ultimately for the best welfare for the horse.
And you might or might not have seen these huge cooling fans on the television coverage of the Grand National. I became first conscious of them back in, I think, 2015 at Andrew, when we saw many clouds using them to such great effect. And I think they've been really well received by the horsemen and the public, just as a much more effective way of cooling the athlete down.
They are elite athletes, and that's where we basically treat them the same.
Applying, first of all, basic principles of science, and secondly, principles of evolution in sport as a whole, to treat these athletes the way they should be treated.
Yeah, and I think if you go back, say, 10, 15 years, what we're doing now is we've moved on so far, and every sport has, every discipline, every sport we look at, athletics, all of those. And I think racing's that great thing of learning off each other And the care and attention, we have a dedicated team of up to about 15 people in here just to the cool and help washing down the horses afterwards. Obviously with the stable staff as well. And I think that's the main thing. We're always looking to work, or we work together as a team, isn't it? You've got the stable lads, they know the horses very well. Got a great team here, the jockeys.